Yeah, your cats
Okay.
in the background, man. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, they're fighting, I guess.
She's been wagging
So,
her tail.
Yeah.
what?
She's been wagging her tail a lot.
Why the tailor?
Drawing my
She
attention to
she
her.
she's very notorious. She would even
We've got our
listen to
Thank
promo
your.
for the
God.
episode.
Yeah. So, hello guys, we are back with another podcast. This time for the review of Premier League. So we have Srikar from Manchester United with us today, Saisudeep from Liverpool, Sreeram Krishnaswami from Barca, and Vishrut also from Barca. Two neutral fans, two EPL fans. So unlike yesterday, I'll start with something else. So Srikar, how will you define your team's season? How was it as per your view?
Oh,
How was
excellent.
Manchester United?
Excellent. After
Like,
we signed, after the transfer window, when we signed Van de Beek, uh, Cavani, and I think a couple of kids, I'm like, Tellers, I'm like, wow. I'd
wow,
snatch your hand
exactly.
off if somebody gave me a Europa League final and a second place uh, in the league. So it's been a great season, right? So especially in the past, if you take the recent past, our standards have not been up. So it's been a great season. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Okay, so what you expected at the start of the season and how they did? Was
So
there any difference in that?
at the start of the season, I desperately wanted the club to sign a centre back and a right winger, and we got neither of them.
Yeah,
So I thought we'd come fourth.
but
I thought we'd
but
do extremely well to come fourth because Liverpool strengthened, City strengthened, and then I mean, and then
City strengthened. Yes,
Chelsea strengthened.
Chelsea strengthened a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tottenham sort of strengthened. They didn't get centre backs, but they got a defensive midfielder, and they had Jose in there. So who knew? So I thought
but but
we'd
but
do
I
well.
guess Greenwood did a pretty decent job at our right wing, or like Rashford also played few games there.
Yeah, I mean, see if you watched United in the past 6, 7, 8 years, we've not had a proper right winger whom you can rely on to put a cross, right? We'll probably be there praying to get a cross in. Right? We've prayed to gods for Valencia. We prayed to gods for Young. We are now praying to gods for Van Bissaka to put one decent cross into the box. You look at all
Yes,
successful Premier League teams in the recent past, be it Chelsea, be it City, and be it Liverpool. Look at all their fullbacks, right? Look
yes,
at look at
they
how
are very
good.
yeah,
Yeah, look at the
Yeah,
amount of
exactly.
chances their fullbacks create. So
exactly.
I mean, it's just not happened once, right? It's happened with Chelsea, it's happened with City, it's happened with Liverpool, and it's again happened with City this year. So it's not a
But
coincidence.
this year it happened with you also. Yeah, like Shaw was very good
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
season.
Yeah, Luke Shaw. Luke
Shaw
Shaw
was
has
very good.
been he's turned our season. He's turned his career
Yes,
around.
redemption season.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So, similar question to you, Sai Sudeep. What were you expecting at the start of the season and middle of the season, and how it ended for you guys? So, yeah.
Jordan Pickford ended it for them, man. He took out Van Dijk, and that's it.
After three games,
Yeah,
when we were at top of the table, I expected us to retain the title. But then after Van Dijk it got injured, I still expected us to finish top three. But after the six home games we lost, I thought a Europa League spot would be in store for us. But great comeback, winning last five matches. One at Old Trafford, which I didn't expect, another one which I sort of expected. So decent end to the season, but not what we expected at the start.
so, what about Trent Alexander Arnold and Thiago? I want to know about these two. How was their performances as per you?
Trent started the season well, but then he had a mid-season blemish where he was losing a lot of balls against the match in Southampton in January. He made a record of losing most balls. He was losing balls
Um,
constantly. And then it all
yes,
culminated
he
in
was not good.
Southgate axing him from the squad. After that, he responded well. Last minute goal against Villa, and then consistent performances. With the best performance reserved for Old Trafford, I think. He was very well that game. He ran the game.
Yes, yes. Disappointed with Thiago, or he was good.
So for Thiago, the thing is that people judged him too quickly. They should have given him a more time. I personally feel we will see the best of him when Fabinho and Hendo play alongside him. So he has this stat. We have won 87.5% of the games when he has started in midfield with Fabinho. So when Fabinho was
Okay,
playing centre back, Thiago was poor. When Fabinho played alongside him, Thiago was a good fish. So in future, I think Thiago will do well if he has Fabinho and Hendo alongside him. So not much of a concern for me, Thiago's form.
so first category for our discussion today would be player of the season. We'll start with Saisudeep.
Player of the season for me would be Harry Kane. It was closely contested between Kane and Diaz, and even Bruno with a decent shout. But I'm only going with Kane because he's the only one that I have personally seen have both top goals and top assists in a season.
Yes, 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 yes. 23 goals and 14 assists. Yes. So Harry Kane, it is for you. Vishrut.
I'll go with Ruben Diaz from Manchester City. City has really like in the previous seasons they had sorted their attack. Their midfield was always great with Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan, and always their defense was patchy. Yeah, and they spent a lot of money, but their money actually yielded some worth. Ruben Diaz is the natural leader in the back, and he's defensively very good, and that has shown in the results. They have a huge point difference, and that can be out to the defenders. So Ruben Dias is my player of the season.
Okay, so one for Kane, one for Diaz. Sriram, your view.
Um, I was going to say these two only, but to pick one of them is actually tough because if Diaz's transfer goes wrong, and then you're thinking like, what have Pep done again? Thrown money on some random centre back from some league, but Diaz worked out well. Diaz scored an own goal against West Brom. That was also a point when people thought like, what's the guy, man? But yeah, he's done well. He's
Yeah.
done very well. Best centre back in the world, certainly. But I'll still say Kane because the way Spurs are
Yes.
without him, there is no
Same.
Spurs. That's
Yeah,
why Kane.
exactly. That would be my pick
Without
also. I would have gone with Harry Kane too. Without him, I don't know where
without
they would have
Kane,
finished.
Spurs don't seem a team. Like I don't know.
Yes, yes, yes. He carried them literally. So, Srikar, who's your player of the season?
My player of the season is again Harry Kane. It should
Okay, you
actually
have a
be
winner.
it should actually be players of the season because I can't really differentiate between Diaz and
Yes.
Kane.
Diaz and Kane. Yeah,
Yeah, Diaz
it's
and
tricky.
Kane.
Yeah.
I mean, Harry Kane.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Maybe it's Mourinho, maybe not. But this is his creative output of the game. I mean, I've always felt since 2017 that he was a very underrated passer of the football. Rooney. Back in the day, Rooney had the same traits too. He used to be a very good passer of the football. I thought Harry Kane was one like that because some of his passes on back in the day were very good,
Yes.
and that
He's
and
very
that
good.
that just exploded to a whole new level this season. I understand some of the finishes from Son were good, but then he still used to drop back, find people, and then run back to the box to finish those chances off. It was so good seeing him like that. So I really can differentiate between both of them, but I'd still edge it for Diaz. But I know Kane is going to win it. I think he's won it. I'm not sure,
Kane has.
but
There's
Yes, he is
one.
yet to reveal.
I mean, I follow a lot of Premier League football, but I don't really watch these award shows. I just feel they're pointless anyway.
Diaz
But
won the Writers Award,
Writers
Football
yeah,
Award.
he
Writers
won
Award.
the
After
FPPW.
that, I did not
Yeah,
see
yeah, yeah.
anything.
So I think, I, but I edge towards Diaz because of the success they've achieved collectively as a team and the impact is had on them. Because City were very bad last year defensively. They missed.
Yes.
They felt the absence of Anthony and Laporte was rather inconsistent, and John Stones was still finding feet. So the impact he's made on them was exceptional. I would have said Ilkay Gundogan too, but then after that highs between November to February, he just went off
Yeah, it
for a
dipped.
little bit.
Yeah, it
Uh,
dipped a bit.
had
Yes.
had he gone on for another month or two, then I mean, then I would have said Gundogan too. He was
Yeah,
exceptional.
Gundogan could have been a contender. Yes.
I remember.
So we have
I
yeah,
remember in early January they had a COVID outbreak, and during that time, that was when City exploded. They started winning game after game.
yeah. So we have a winner, Harry Kane, in this category, Player of the Year. Next one would be Match of the Year, Match of the Season. I would say, Match of the Season. Srikar, you start as you were saying.
I have uh, I have two. One one is I mean I'll not say the other one because it will look incredibly biased from my side because we also got spanked 6-1 by Spurs. I have two. Uh, I have two. One is United Southampton. Cavani scored that last minute header. That was
Mm.
one, and another game was I think hmm, oh, what game can I choose?
Who Aston Villa.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I can't
Liverpool
look
won,
past
City 4.
I can't really look past United Southampton because that changed the season. So me personally, that is. But for in an unbiased perspective, I'm trying to remember what was the most memorable game this season.
How about United Leeds?
Ah, no, bro.
Oh,
The
got
football,
whacked, man.
the football
6.
Leeds play. No, I'm not trying to take anything away, but I was not surprised by that result. The football Leeds play and the football United play under Solskjaer. It's a horrible way to set any team up against Solskjaer's United like that because Rashford's going to kill you, bro. He's going to absolutely kill you, especially with the quality of fullbacks you have. They are going to absolutely destroy you if you play a high line, play expensive football against them. It's like leaving a kid in a
Yes.
park with a bunch of toys, right? So I don't consider that as a game of the season, but I'm trying to remember what were the good games. I loved Chelsea Leicester 2-1 recently.
Yeah,
Yes. That
Indiana,
was very good.
Yeah.
that was an
that's
amazing
actually
game.
that
Yeah,
actually is my pick
Amazing.
yeah.
for this
So I
one.
think
Amazing.
from a non-biased perspective, I'll go for that. The Chelsea Leicester 2-1 at the bridge. The Chelsea won. That was a great game of football.
Brilliant game, brilliant game.
Yeah,
Yes, really great football.
Yeah. So, Sriram, your match of the season.
I was actually going to say the same. Leicester, Chelsea, that last
Chelsea
minute.
Leicester.
Yo, that was crazy, man. Like that fight outbreak, and then Daniel Amate came there, and Thiago Silva was, what are you doing here, man? That was great. Great to watch.
I would still go with that FA Cup final
yeah.
Yeah,
just because of that
yeah, that
Vardy
too.
moment. Just because of that Vardy moment. And winning a corner
Vardy
and
taking
that
a
was
walk in the park.
yes, yes, exactly, exactly.
Vardy's
So
been pretty under for this season, though. Like as a player,
hmm, he
he's old
was
too. If I'm
decent.
not.
I guess Vardy was decent, or like he was okayish. I guess he didn't have a very good season.
He's actually underperforming.
Yes, yes. Saisudeep, match of the
For me personally, from a biased point of view, if I say it would be the first match of the season between Liverpool and Leeds. So we were coming in as defending champions and they were the promoted team. I expected them to be attacking in our counter attack was very good at that point. So I thought we would win convincingly, but they made it tough. We eventually won 4-3 with a last minute penalty from Salah. That was a good game, personally. And from an unbiased point of
so
view, I cannot look ahead of Chelsea Leicester at the bridge. High stakes match with high
okay.
more fights and with a customary Werner offside goal. Nothing better than that.
Yeah, I'll come on this point. I wanted to know everyone's perspective on Werner's game, and so this season will come on at the end. So, Vishrut, your match of the season.
If like Srikar left that match out, it will be that 7-2 Aston Villa versus Liverpool. Until that game happened, everyone expected that Liverpool might actually end up defending the title, and we
Exactly.
never
Yes.
at least that, or at least they would be runner-ups. that game proved that yes, they are beatable, and even minnows were actually like going up their 90, and that was a great game to watch as a neutral fan. Like minnows being able to defeat the giants. It's a good David Goliath story.
Saisudeep isn't even smiling.
You can add one match actually. That's Spurs versus West Ham 3-3. That Lanzini goal was that
Hmm.
last.
Even
That was
Arsenal
Yes.
versus West Ham was
Yes.
good. Arsenal also came back from three dives, but that
Yeah,
happened.
this
last.
Leicester versus Spurs 4-2. That was also good.
Yeah.
2-4.
Good
That
Yeah,
was
game.
last
also
one.
good.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, that
Uh,
was good.
I remember that West Ham Spurs game was a tale of two halves. Spurs were exceptional in the first half. They were
First,
seeing
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they
Till
would
that.
score six or seven. They looked like title winners and whatnot, playing some peak
Yes.
football. And then 75 minutes, they looked so comfortable. And then, as usual, Spurs being Spurs.
Yeah.
And
Lanzini,
after
Lanzini,
December, they just continued to dip.
fell off the
Man,
cliff.
After December, Spurs just continued to dip.
I mean, imagine
Yeah.
Mourinho, his first club where he's not won. I know he's always done with his career, but then I mean, it's so
Not
bad.
every, no one can win with
It's
Spurs,
so bad.
not even Poch.
I see. By the way, speaking about Spurs, I just read a tweet from one of those Spurs fan bases which is being forwarded, and this was taken from Sky Sports. It's like hashtag Tottenham are looking for a softer manager, someone whose personality can be managed easier than Antonio Conte's. Not a serious club, man. Look
Do
at
you
the.
think
Means
Conte
they're
will join
not going
Spurs?
for Conte. They're going for somebody else.
I mean, they.
So
Conte
they.
won't
I
join
mean,
Spurs. The only
I
reason
Why
he's
would
understand.
he?
leaving Inter Milan is
No,
because there is no money to spend. Why would he go to another club where situation would be same?
Ah.
no.
Hmm.
True.
All of that is
They
fine.
can sell Kane and they can generate that. Even
Yeah.
Kane is leaving.
See, all of that is fine if you give a valid reason, like, okay, we want to play a different brand of football or whatever. Think things like we want a softer manager. Come on, man. You are serious about
That's just banter.
That's good reason.
Yeah.
Soft
Yeah.
manager.
So, the hell is softer now, man? It's
I
softer.
don't think even Ole is soft. Like he looks so soft on the
That's
outside, but
true.
I'm not. I'm sure he's not soft in the dressing room.
So,
Nah.
Roy Keane in 2018-19 season when we lost 4-0 at Goodison Park to Everton. Post match, Roy Keane told us about Ole. And I know he speaks a lot of shit, but at least Ole is his friend and he knows him inside out. He told him that Ole's got a nasty edge to him. He come out as a very quiet, nice, smiling man, but inside he's very different, right? He's pissed off when they lose a game. As a player, he used to be extremely pissed off in the dressing room and whatnot. So he told him they'll all get the stick. So I don't think any manager is, is soft. I
Yeah.
mean, you cannot
Not
survive.
possible. Like you cannot be soft. Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot survive a dressing room of people earning 400, 500,000 pounds a week if you're soft. You just
Mm,
cannot.
yes.
So
True.
So we are done with match of the year. Next category is manager of the season. We'll start with Vishrut, manager of the season.
I guess Manchester United fans may not like this one. David Moyes will be my manager of the season.
Okay, David
Uh,
Moyes.
he has like even before the starting of the season, we do some predictions, and what I thought was that West Ham is almost going to be like relegated, or it'll be around 17th or 18th, something like that. Uh, Expecting them to play Europa League is quite a surprise, and choosing the players and using like taking the best advantage out of them. David Moyes is actually he has a lot of tactical acumen. We should say that. So I'll go with David Moyes.
bro, don't let Moyes' United stint give you a bad intention of what
Yeah.
he is because he was an exceptional. So I grew up watching Premier League in the mid 2000s, right? He was exceptional, and especially in the early 2010s when he had Fellaini, he was unplayable at Old Trafford. I swear to God, our title-winning team, struggled to deal with Fellaini. I mean, that game was a 3-3 or a 4-4 draw.
4-4, which
Yeah,
Jelavic scored when Fellaini scored. That was
yeah.
the game of the decade, I think, for Premier League.
That game gave me absolute nightmares as a kid. That guy just they just hit the ball to him. He just controlled it like a sandbag and just chested it to somebody else. So Moyes is an underrated
Fel-
manager.
Fellaini is there in Dutch squad for Euros or
Yeah,
not?
yeah, he is.
Belgian. He's
He's
Belgium,
Belgian.
Belgium.
Belgian, right?
Belgium.
sorry,
He's a
Belgian.
Belgium.
Sorry, Belgian.
Sorry, he's a
Yeah.
Yeah.
Belgium.
Belgian. Sorry, not Dutch.
Yeah,
Belgian.
yeah, yeah, he's a
Dutch
Belgium.
Fellaini इतना
Man
बोल
got
बोल के ना
confused by
दिमाग
cricket.
बिठा दिया
19
है भाई.
And also, a word about Moyes. David Moyes stepped into an impossible job. There was no manager in the world, not Pep, not Klopp. Nobody could have could have won a title after Sarri. It's impossible. It was an impossible job he stepped into. I'm not taking any credit away from Pep or Klopp, but I'm just talking to you in relative terms. That was an impossible job. I mean, replacing somebody who's built an entire football club, right? So United was not a Real Madrid or a Barcelona. We were almost as big as Arsenal, or we had lesser titles than them in 1986. So he built an entire footballing, built an entire brand that it is today. It was
Yeah.
not an easy job. And then David Gill also left. David Gill was a chief executive officer. He stepped out too. So an impossible job for anybody.
So as you're speaking, Shekhar, why don't you tell us your manager of the season?
Moyes is a good shout, but then you can't look past Pep Guardiola, isn't it? I mean, spending, whatnot aside. I mean, come on. What this is
Yeah,
a what
man played whole season without a proper number
striker.
nine.
I mean, it
Number
helps
nine.
when you have so many goal scoring
Good
midfielders,
players.
isn't it?
Yes.
But then, I mean, no matter how many good players you have, you still got to be able to play the football, play it consistently. They've had their
Sync them, everything
challenges.
is there. Yes.
They've had COVID outbreaks. They've had injuries. I mean, they were what, 10th in the league in December or something.
13.
So when probably November they were 10th in the league when Spurs beat them two
When
nil.
Spurs beat them 2-0. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so I know
They
they
were
had
very
games.
behind. Yeah.
They had games in hand, but then can't I can't really look past Pep. So I think another good
Right.
shout is Rogers because people are really considering it a bottle. But Leicester have Leicester what after they won the title they finished 15th or 16th and then they were 10th. So they're gradually on the rise, right? So even Europa League football another season is not a bottle. They've still come to a point where people are calling it a bottle. That is not Leicester. So
But Leicester is one of those teams which has consistently stayed in top four for a long, like I think more than other teams, Leicester has been in
42
top four
days.
for a long time and still did not
right.
finish it.
Right, I understand, but look at the injuries they've had. They've not had Barnes, they've not had James Justin, they've not had Evans towards the end of the season. They've had, I think, NDD out.
He was out in the start.
Hmm.
Yeah, they've had injuries. I mean, every club has injuries, but then Leicester do not have the same squad depth as like a United or Liverpool or a City, right? So, or a Chelsea, for example. So, I mean, it's hard. It's really hard. You guys know most of you are all Barcelona fans. You know the difference in squad depth between a Barcelona and an Osasuna, right? It's hard.
True.
So that's how it is for Leicester. Despite their spending power, despite them getting 170 million from Maguire and Chilwell, it's 150 million from Maguire and Chilwell. It's still hard. So,
Right.
Right. So, Saisudeep, your manager of the season.
I would actually go ahead with what Srikar said. For me, it would be Brendan Rodgers only because I expected Leicester to have a drop. So they lost last season. It was mostly because Soyuncu red card and against United they did not have the nerve. So I thought they would go downwards in the table, but they remained in top four for 242 days, won the domestic cup, which nobody expected.
But at the end they bottled that thing, right? They bottled
But
that thing and finished
but
outside top
that
four. So
that is in Rogers' genes. Personally experienced it. So and
Liverpool. Liverpool.
and for Rogers, in his defense, I would say that he has improved a lot of players. If you look at James Justin, he was just a squad player. He improved a lot, one of the best when he was there. And then Kalechi Iheanacho, revelation of the season, carried them in later parts of the season. Schmeichel had a good season but went under the radar because
Radar,
of
yeah.
Emiliano Martinez and Ederson had wonderful seasons.
Yeah, Emi Martinez
Tielemans
as well.
has been good as
Yes.
well. So there were a lot of good Leicester players. Yes, probably and Harvey Barnes as well when he played. So Leicester, a lot of
Uh,
players have made progress, but the thing is again their fitness, lack of depth, and injuries cost them. But they still won the cup and finished fifth. If they had finished fourth, it would have been the best season, not the greatest, but still a wonderful season for them and for
Listen,
Roger.
I'll also I think this can be this can be controversial, and I will stand corrected if somebody proves otherwise. But I think I'm just putting it out. I think West Ham have a better squad depth than Leicester do. I genuinely think that. So I'm talking about squad depth, not in terms of the first 11 or
First
12,
team.
13
Yeah,
players
so,
as quality. We're just talking about having,
uh,
like for example, who replaces Vardy at Leicester? Absolutely no one.
no
They
one.
should they should bring somebody,
yes.
but Antonio, I mean, they've
Yeah, he was
replaced
good.
Antonio's goals with Ben Rama or
As Ben
Lingard.
Ramos, but
So I mean,
Bowen is there.
yeah. So that I'm talking about that way. I think West Ham have a better depth than Leicester does, but then I
Yeah,
can be
West Ham
wrong.
survived that injury to Masuaku pretty well. Wasn't
Yeah,
stepped up.
yeah, yeah. So and they have center backs too. They've survived an injury to Declan Rice too. I know
Declan Rice
I'm
in the
Declan
not
middle.
Rice.
taking, yeah, I'm not taking
Yeah,
anything.
Rice has been very good. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything away from David Moyes, but I think I can stand corrected on it. But I personally think West Ham have a deeper squad than Leicester
Yes.
do.
Okay. Okay. So next what Sriram is left. So Sriram, your manager of the season.
Yeah, I am also sticking with Pep, man. Like I'm not looking past Pep
Okay.
because that's a great achievement. Winning the PL is not easy. Like he's doing this like 10, 13 points ahead of the second place. You might say that okay, he has a better squad, better he spent this, he spent this money. You can say that, but yeah, he's been in control. Like after he's just taken them. And when that West Brom game happened, that 1-1 draw, that was so bad for them actually. That Diaz own goal. And we thought that like what is happening at and but after that was the Gundogan's form surge and all that happened. And then they broke
Mm,
this Anfield jinx that they hadn't won at Anfield. They did that. And then the
yes.
second game against Spurs, they went and just dismantled Spurs 3-0. That game was brilliant game. Great game. And now they've gone one team which stopped them in the middle run as United at 2-0. Oh, struck out of nowhere.
Yes.
But
Yes.
great. Otherwise, they've been just on a roll, complete roll, man. Great team. And after maintaining that same form in the Champions League as well. That too is there. They've reached the finals. They are possibly favorites for the final too. Possibly.
Uh, ठीक है. So Srikar, a question for you. Rashford, he has so much potential. I personally love that player, but he has not been up to the expectations, the way he should perform, and he could have been a very crucial player for United, but he is not. I have been seeing it from the past 2 or 3 seasons, so I really expect a lot from a player with that caliber and potential, but he's not unleashing it. What's the problem? What do you think?
Ah, it's got layers to it. So I will not completely agree when you say he's had a. I mean, I will not disagree if you say he's had an inconsistent season, but I will also say if his inconsistent season is giving us 30 goals and assists, I'm very happy. I'm like, okay, fine. He inconsistent.
No,
Give me.
I'm just comparing it with
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
the level of potential and caliber here.
let me get to it. So I understand when somebody says that. I myself get frustrated because the guy plays like Mbappe and then finishes like some very bad
Vinicius.
striker from League Two
Vinicius.
or League Three, right? So I'm not comparing to Mbappe. I'm just saying he will show off an Mbappe skill and then finish like a League Three striker. So I mean, so
And sometimes his finishes are just world class.
yeah. So it's down to in football. Yesterday I was watching Gary Neville's interview with Maguire on the overlap on YouTube. Uh, Maguire was Maguire was talking about how him and Luke Shaw met Sir Alex Sir Alex at the screening of his documentary for United players, and how he was speaking to them about concentration, right? So I think concentration. Apparently, that's even Gary Neville agreed to it. even even he told, even Sir Alex used to tell them when Gary Neville was a player, concentration. So I think that is an issue with Rashford. I really thought that Ole would improve his finishing, and he did to a certain extent. And
Ole has done a great season.
what you've also not got to overlook is the guy has played with a lower back injury last season.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes, yes.
and
That I forgot.
yeah,
Yes.
last season he
Mhm.
played with a lower back injury, and in February it came to a point where Sky Sports did an interview on him, and he was not able to stand and he was not able to sit. That's a horrible position to be in,
Yeah,
and he still continued playing for another 2 game weeks after that. So that is
yeah.
one.
He
And
played
then
injured.
this season he had a shoulder injury and he played him, and this season he had an ankle injury which he played. And apparently, according to the Athletic and the people who were working with him with writing his books and all, they were telling him that they were telling us that he was not able to wear his trainer. That's so bad. I myself played basketball at a university level in India. I know how bad it is if you're not able to wear your trainers because the ankle gets swollen, it will get this big, and you'll not be able to move it. You've got to get injections for it to temporarily go away and
Yes,
play through
yes.
the pain. So
Happened with me
these are the
once.
two reasons. One is concentration. He has to improve himself because he has to kick on now, isn't he? He'll be 20, he'll be 24, 23, 24 next season. And I think next season is really crucial for him. I hope it doesn't turn out to be another Martial or just say another Welbeck, somebody like that.
Yeah.
Because Welbeck was very good when he burst onto the scene. He did not have this numbers because we had better players at the club then. But then I just hope Rashford kicks on. I mean, my opinion is just like yours. I get frustrated because he can be as good as anyone he wants to be, right? And then he comes out and fluffs the lines. He could have easily had 10 or 12 goals this season, but then you can say it for everybody, right? I mean, if this would have
Yeah.
happened, this would have had happened. So I would not go into those details, but then I will just say that I agree. He's been very inconsistent and he needs to improve.
So this was part one of our Premier League end of season review. Tomorrow we'll upload part two. So if you want to get notification for that, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Until then, stay safe. Peace.